And as you know, we're here to have the great pleasure of having Emma Marcegaglia, who is the chairperson of Confindustria, as well as managing director of Marcegaglia.
First, we need some decision on a global level, on European level and national level. On global level, what we need, in my opinion, we need, of course, a global governance. Yes, we have appreciated the efforts and progresses made in Seoul at the recent G20, but I think a lot remains to do. And the debate on exchange rates and the trade of a currency war is a clear warning. The failure to develop a comprehensive multilateral approach to economic rebalances implies great risk of renewed protectionism that should be absolutely avoided. So I think that we, all the business world and also Confindustria and also Business Europe, we are trying to push for an ambitious and balanced Doha round, which in our opinion will be the best way to deliver trade liberalization and fight protectionism. I think that it's very important, and there are raising concern over government measures that restrict access to market, to procurement, to trade and to raw materials. We are really very concerned about the fact that now raw materials for some sectors are, you cannot find it. There is a problem of price, but on some sectors you cannot find it. So Doha represents a potentially big boost to global growth. Global trade could increase over 300 billion a year and world income by more than 130 billion euros. So first thing, we need a global governance and we need to fight protectionism, that the Doha round will arrive finally to a conclusion after 10 years. And this is very important. We think that there must be all the efforts to improve market access for our companies, and also to have tariff cutting on industrial goods, and also cutting on non-tariff barriers. This is very important in some emerging markets, but also, for example, in the United States. Some of our companies see raising some non-tariff barriers also here in the United States. Second point is about Europe. Maybe we can elaborate better than if you want with some questions, but our idea is very clear on this point. We think that the euro is something that is absolutely very important. The European integration is very important. Italy is part of this European integration. There is discussion going on in these days, or the ECOFIN and the head of the state will meet, and we really think that at the end it's very important that there will be an answer to the crisis of the euro, and of course this is very important. And I also want to underline that Europe is much more than just a financial global markets and only one and the euro. If we, for example, think about the enlargement to Eastern Europe, I think this was a very important thing also to assure a part of this world to democracy, to market, and to an economy based on market. So I really think that European integration in Europe are very important, not only from a financial point of view, but also from a political point of view, and also for assuring democracy. Last point, at the national level, what we need at the national level. I said before, we have some strength, but our problem is a low rate of growth and low productivity. So we really need strong and deep reforms on some very important points. And as Confindustria, we are pushing a lot on this point. We are pushing the government to do that. First, we need a change in the heavy regulatory burden in labor and product markets and the bureaucratic red tape. The government has started to do some reforms on this point, which are good, but we have to go on, because this is a very important point. We need to have stable laws and rules, also mainly in the fiscal fields, because this is very important to attract investments abroad, and also to stimulate the investments by Italian companies. Then we still need some flexibility in labor market, and we need also to change the bargaining system, still too centralized and rigid, and as Confindustria we are working on this very, very hard. And also we need to raise the size of some of our companies, because now to be too small could mean also to have more difficulties in access to research, to technology, and also to financial markets. So we are pushing also some of our companies to merge with other companies to become bigger, because sometimes this is very important. And we still need to cut current public spending and invest more in research and innovation, which is, in our opinion, the key factor to be more competitive. And we are working a lot on this point, and I'm finishing. I think that innovation must become the fundamental criterion of the economic policy decision-making process. To promote and to attract higher value research and activities, we support the enforcement of regulatory measures such as tax credit and fiscal facility with a long-term incentives. Confindustria has identified the most promising sector and companies by mapping the Italian companies' competencies in research and investment. These high-level competencies are distributed in many different sectors, from transport to aerospace, from biotechnology to food, from energy to machinery. So high competent companies are operating in the whole country. Many of them are small, medium companies, world leaders combining high-tech products with innovation and design. And Confindustria is deeply involved in strategic projects based on clear industrial plans, join up large companies and SMEs, university and public research centers benefiting of the innovation financial tools. We are also working with the American Embassy on a project to fight a little bit the digital divide which we have in some small, medium enterprises. So what I can say, and the finish, is that we think that Italy has a place in the global market. We have some strengths, as I said. We are trying to push also to change and to change our weakness, and this need for strong reforms is very important. The government must do its job, and also the enterprises must do their job. And as Confindustria, we are really pushing very hard because we think that we have good opportunities and we would like to be part of this global growth, which I think we can do it and we can deserve it. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Oscar Bartoli, and a letter from Washington. Sorry, I cannot stand. President Marcegaglia, you mentioned many times during your speech the family-owned companies. One of these, which is not very small, the name of this company is Fiat, or Fiat Chrysler. I would like to ask you if forecasting the 2011 Fiat or Fiat Chrysler will be still a member of Confindustria. Thank you.
Ask Marchione. Well, first of all, I would like to say that in my opinion, what Fiat is doing, what Marchione is doing, is very important, because when you are a player of the global market, you cannot, act as in the past, where maybe you have incentive from the state, you invest, without understanding or without taking into account what were the competitiveness around the world. So, in my opinion, what Marchione is doing is a very hard and tough work. Sometimes maybe it could sees as a rude man, but I think what he's doing is very important, because otherwise, if you're not competitive, if you don't have a size which is good for the global market, you cannot survive. So this, in my opinion, is good. Of course, Fiat is saying something very clear to Italy and to the Union, to the unions. I'm willing to invest in Pomigliano or in Mirafiori if I can have these plans under control. I cannot accept to have a union which decide maybe tomorrow morning that it didn't accept what was the previous agreement, then starts to strike and whatever. So he cannot accept this, even though also because he has a partnership with Chrysler, with the American unions, with the American government. So he has to act in a certain way. So what I said before is that we are trying, not only for Fiat, because Fiat has a problem now, but also the other Italian company has the same problem. We're trying to have a different bargaining system, less rigid, less centralized, more tailor-made on different plants and on different companies, because this is, it's a problem of Fiat, but it's a problem of all the other countries, of all the other companies. So we are doing that, and of course, for now, if you are in Confindustria, you have to applicate the national contract, which says something. Now we are making some exception on this. We are working on that. At the end, we will see if this work or not. But what I can say is that I understand what Marchionni is doing, and we are trying to change things in the bargaining system, in the labor market. I underline, not only for Fiat, which is very important, but also for all the other small, medium, enterprise companies that, as I said before, are the real good part of our economic system.